The quiet hum of the Coalition survey ship Horizon filled the command deck as Captain Taehyun stared at the main screen. He rubbed his tired eyes, having spent 8 straight days mapping this empty region between galactic arms. His crew was restless, bored with routine scans that showed nothing but space dust and small asteroids. "Captain, we're picking up an anomaly at coordinates 227 to 84019, said Officer Sunmi, her voice suddenly alert. "Metal signature. Very large." Taehyun straightened in his chair. "How large?" "Massive, sir. Initial readings suggest it's—" She paused, rechecking her instruments. "It's over 4 kilometers in length." The bridge fell silent. "Nothing that size should be out here in empty space." "Put it on screen," ordered Taehyun. The main display shifted to show a dark, elongated shape against the backdrop of stars. Though clearly artificial, it showed no running lights, no energy signatures. "Magnify," Taehyun ordered, leaning forward. As the image enhanced, they could make out the sleek, predatory lines of what could only be a warship, but unlike any the Coalition had ever built. Its hull was marked with faded symbols, and despite apparent damage to sections of its outer armor, its overall structure remained intact. "Run those markings through the database," Taehyun said quietly. Moments later, Sunmi gasped. "Sir, they're human." The word hung in the air like a ghost. Humans, the species thought extinct for over 3 centuries after the devastating Hive Wars. Stories of their engineering prowess and fierce determination were still told, but most considered them legends, exaggerated tales of a lost civilization. "That's impossible," muttered Science Officer Chono. "Human vessels were documented to be no larger than 800 meters. Nothing in our historical records indicates they had the capability to build something of this scale." Taehyun studied the image. "Well, it seems our historical records are incomplete. Alert Coalition Command and prepare a boarding party. I want to see this relic up close." Within hours, Taehyun led a team of 12 specialists toward the ancient vessel in their shuttle. As they approached, the true scale of the warship became apparent. It dwarfed their own cruiser, which was considered large by Coalition standards. "The ship appears to be called Prometheus *", reported Chono, analyzing the faded lettering near what appeared to be a hangar bay. In human mythology, Prometheus was a figure who gave fire to humanity, against the wishes of the gods. "How fitting," Taehyun remarked. "Let's see what other gifts this Prometheus might hold." They found an entry point, a secondary docking bay with its doors partially open. After confirming the compartment could hold atmosphere, they landed inside. The hangar was vast and dark, their lights revealing rows of smaller craft covered in protective sheeting. "These look like fighter ships," said Security Chief Mina, examining the nearest vessel. "Hundreds of them." Taehyun ordered his team to spread out and secure the immediate area. The air inside was stale but breathable, suggesting the environmental systems had maintained minimal functionality over the centuries. As they ventured deeper into the ship, emergency lighting suddenly flickered to life along the corridors. "I thought you said this ship was dead," Taehyun said to Engineer Woojin. "It was, or seemed to be," Woojin replied, checking his instruments. "But something's happening. Power signatures are increasing throughout the vessel. It's waking up." They followed the activating lights through massive corridors that could accommodate vehicles. The scale of everything, from doorways to ceiling heights, suggested the humans had built this ship with grand purpose. 4 hours into their exploration, they discovered the command center, a cathedral-like space filled with control stations and dominated by a central holographic projector. As they entered, screens began to activate one by one. "Sir, I'm not touching anything," Woojin said nervously. "The ship is powering up on its own." The central projector suddenly hummed to life, casting blue light across the command deck. A figure materialized, a woman in what appeared to be a human military uniform. Her appearance was striking. Dark hair pulled back tightly, sharp eyes, and perfect posture. "Unidentified boarding party," she said in clear, precise common language. "You have accessed United Earth Defense Force Supercarrier Prometheus *. State your identity and purpose." The team stood frozen until Tahian stepped forward. "I am Captain Tahian of the Galactic Coalition survey vessel Horizon *. We discovered your ship adrift and boarded to investigate." The hologram studied him. "Galactic Coalition. This political entity does not exist in my records. The coalition was formed 80 years after the Hive Wars," Tahian explained carefully. "May I ask what you are?" "I am Admiral Juwan, commander of the UEDF Prometheus *. Or rather, I am her neural imprint, digitally preserved in the ship's AI core." The hologram's eyes narrowed. "What year is it, Captain?" "By the standard galactic calendar, it is year 2783. The hologram went still. 326 years, she said softly. "Much longer than anticipated." "Admiral," Tahian ventured, "humanity is believed to have gone extinct during the final battles of the Hive Wars. Your species is considered lost to history." A smile flickered across the hologram's face. "Is that what the galaxy believes? How interesting." She turned as if examining her surroundings. "This vessel was never lost, Captain Tahian. It was waiting." As she spoke, more systems activated around them. Screens displayed ship diagnostics, weapons readiness, and repair protocols. The deck vibrated beneath their feet as massive engines stirred to life. "Waiting for what?" asked Tahian, feeling sudden apprehension. "For the right moment," Admiral Juwan replied. "And it seems that moment has arrived." Outside, throughout the massive vessel, manufacturing drones began to deploy from hidden compartments. Repair systems activated, and deep in the ship's core, a quantum signal pulsed outward, reaching across vast distances to receivers long dormant. "Captain," Minna said urgently, checking her comm unit, "the Horizon * is reporting that the supercarrier's weapon systems are coming online. They're detecting massive energy buildups." Admiral Juwan's hologram watched them with calm interest. "Do not fear, Captain. If I wanted your destruction, you would already be space dust. Your discovery of the Prometheus * was not by chance. You were guided here." "Why?" Tahian asked, struggling to comprehend the implications. "Because humanity never went extinct," Juwan said simply. "We merely stepped away from the galactic stage to rebuild, to evolve. And now, Captain Tahian of the Galactic Coalition, it is time for us to return." The Emergency Council chamber on Coalition Station Primus had never been so packed. Representatives from 57 member species sat in tense silence as Captain Tahian finished his report about the discovery of the human supercarrier Prometheus *. High Counselor Kyungi, an elder who had lived nearly 2 centuries, leaned forward in her seat. "You mean to tell us this vessel simply woke up, and its AI claims humanity is not extinct?" "Yes, Counselor," Tahian confirmed. "The ship's systems became operational within hours of our boarding. The AI presents itself as Admiral Juwan, apparently a digital copy of the vessel's original commander." Science Director Junho stepped forward, activating a holographic display in the center of the chamber. The image showed the massive Prometheus *, now surrounded by Coalition research vessels that looked tiny beside it. "The supercarrier is unlike anything in our records," Junho explained. "Historical data suggests human ships were advanced but limited in size. This vessel contradicts everything we believed about their technological capabilities." Kyunhee frowned. "What does this Admiral Juwan want?" "She has been cooperative so far," Tahian replied. "She's granted our scientists access to some of the ship's non-critical systems, but she's made it clear that the Prometheus * remains under her control." Military Commander Doyun stood up abruptly. "This is unacceptable. We should secure this vessel immediately. If humans truly survived somewhere beyond known space, this warship could represent a significant threat. Kyung-hee raised her hand for calm. Let us not rush to confrontation. Captain Taehyun, what is your assessment of this eye? Taehyun considered his words carefully. She's intelligent, calculated, but not overtly hostile. She seems curious about what the galaxy has become in humanity's absence. The council chamber doors slid open, and Science Officer Woojin hurried in, his face flushed with excitement. Counselors, forgive the interruption, he said, bowing quickly. We've accessed some of the ship's historical archives. You need to see this immediately. Woojin connected his data pad to the central projector. The hologram shifted to show historical footage, scenes from the final days of the Hive Wars. The council members watched in silence as massive insectoid ships swarmed Earth's defenses. This is known history, Commander Do-hyun said impatiently. Wait, Woojin urged. The footage continued, showing Earth's final stand. But then came images never before seen. Enormous vessels rising from hidden facilities beneath Earth's oceans and from the far side of its moon. Among them was the Prometheus *, gleaming and new, leading a fleet of similar supercarriers. The official records state that Earth fell to the Hive, with only a handful of human colony ships escaping, Woojin explained. But these archives tell a different story. Earth was evacuated according to a pre-established plan. The supercarriers were humanity's secret weapons, built over decades in preparation for possible defeat. The footage showed the human fleet engaging the Hive in a massive battle near Proxima Centauri. The supercarriers deployed weapons of incredible power, tearing holes in space itself to swallow Hive vessels whole. The Prometheus and its sister ships weren't just warships. Woojin continued, his voice filled with awe. They were arcs, designed to preserve human civilization. Each carried thousands of people in stasis, along with genetic samples of Earth life and cultural databases. New images appeared, schematics of the Prometheus revealing enormous habitation sections, agricultural domes, and manufacturing facilities that could create anything from food to fighter craft. But where did they go? Asked a Volucrian representative. Our exploration ships have mapped most of the galaxy. Woojin shook his head. That's still unclear. The archives show the fleet heading toward the galactic rim, but specific destinations were encrypted even within their own records. It seems the plan included complete isolation from other species. Commander Do-hyun pounded his fist on the table. So they've been hiding, building up their forces for 3 centuries. And now they return with technology far superior to ours. This sounds like the prelude to invasion. Kyung-hee raised her hand again. What else have you learned from these archives, Officer Woojin? The Prometheus contains technological innovations we can barely comprehend, Woojin replied. Their FTL drive doesn't just bend spacetime. It folds it completely, allowing instantaneous travel across vast distances. Their weapons don't just destroy targets, they can remove them from our reality entirely. A murmur swept through the council chamber. Captain Taehyun stepped forward again. There's one more thing, counselors. The AI, Admiral Juwon, has requested permission to access our historical databases and star charts. She wants to know what became of the galaxy after humanity's departure. Absolutely not. Commander Do-hyun protested. We would be giving valuable intelligence to a potential enemy. Science Director Juno cleared his throat. With respect, Commander, if they wished us harm, they could take what they want. The Prometheus has shown only a fraction of its capabilities. Their scanning technology alone has mapped our entire station down to the quantum level. Kyung-hee sat in silent contemplation before speaking again. Grant the AI access to public historical records only. Nothing classified. And I want continuous monitoring of all interactions. As the council continued to debate, deep within the Prometheus Admiral Juwan's holographic form stood in a chamber filled with data streams. She reviewed the information gathered from coalition sources, comparing it to the ship's own records and projections. "Interesting," she murmured. "They've advanced further than expected in some areas, fallen behind in others." A holographic display showed thousands of dormant beacons scattered throughout coalition space, monitoring outposts disguised as derelict satellites or ancient ruins, silently watching galactic civilization develop for centuries. "Begin activation sequence for network relay stations," Juwan commanded. "It's time to send the signal." Throughout coalition territory, long-dormant human installations hidden on moons, asteroids, and uninhabited planets quietly began powering up. Quantum entanglement communicators established connections to distant coordinates beyond the galactic rim. Aboard the Prometheus Juwan watched as the first responses came in. Text only, carrying verification codes established centuries ago. She permitted herself a small smile. "Wake-up procedures confirmed," she said to herself. "We have re-established contact. Phase 1 complete." In her private memory banks, Juwan accessed the final orders given to her by her human creators. "Wait. Watch. Return when the time is right. Protect what remains." "The waiting is over," she whispered. "It's time for humanity to come home." Coalition Admiral Jaehyun stood on the observation deck of his flagship, the Formidable Asterisk, watching the human supercarrier with growing concern. Over the past week, the Prometheus had undergone a remarkable transformation. What had been a dormant relic was now alive with activity. "Status report," Jaehyun demanded, not taking his eyes off the massive vessel. "Sir, the human ship continues to repair itself at an accelerating rate," reported his tactical officer. "Our sensors detect swarms of automated drones working on the hull. They appear to be harvesting material from nearby asteroids to facilitate repairs." Through the viewport, Jaehyun could see the drones, thousands of them, moving with perfect coordination across the supercarrier's surface like a colony of insects. The damage that had marked the Prometheus was rapidly disappearing. "And the weapons systems?" Jaehyun asked quietly. "Coming online one by one, sir. Energy readings suggest they're far more powerful than our initial estimates." Jaehyun's jaw tightened. The Coalition Security Council had ordered him to maintain a safe distance while keeping the supercarrier under constant surveillance. His fleet of 20 warships would normally represent overwhelming firepower, but he suspected they would barely scratch the Prometheus if conflict erupted. On the bridge of the Prometheus Captain Taehyun and Ambassador Dohyun sat across from Admiral Juwan's holographic form. Unlike their previous meetings, she now appeared seated at a desk, dressed in a formal uniform adorned with medals and insignia they didn't recognize. "Your ships seem concerned by our repair operations," Juwan observed calmly. "Please assure Admiral Jaehyun that we pose no immediate threat to his fleet." Ambassador Dohyun leaned forward. "With respect, Admiral, your vessel is activating weapons systems capable of destroying our entire fleet. The Coalition is naturally concerned about your intentions." Juwan nodded. "Understandable, but necessary. The Prometheus must be fully operational for what comes next." "And what exactly is that?" Dohyun pressed. Juwan's hologram stood and gestured. The room darkened, and a three-dimensional star map appeared, showing the entire galaxy. Thousands of points of light blinked into existence across the map, mostly concentrated in regions beyond Coalition space. "For 3 centuries, humanity has been rebuilding," Juwan explained. "Not extinct, as you believed, but withdrawn to the shadows of the galaxy. These points represent human colonies and outposts, established far from the attention of other species." Taehyun stared at the map in disbelief. "There are thousands, 4,317 colonies, to be precise," Juwan confirmed. "After the Hive Wars, humanity's leaders made a difficult decision. Our species had been pushed to the brink of extinction. Rather than struggle to maintain our place in a galaxy that had nearly destroyed us, we would retreat, rebuild, and evolve on our own terms. That's impossible, Do-Yun protested. Our exploration ships would have found some evidence. Juwan smiled. Your exploration ships went exactly where we wanted them to go, saw exactly what we wanted them to see. The galaxy is vast, Ambassador. It's not difficult to hide when you control what others are looking for. Before Do-Yun could respond, alarms blared throughout the Prometheus *. The star map vanished, replaced by tactical displays. What's happening? Tae-Yun asked, alarmed. Your admiral has ordered his fleet to battle stations, Juwan replied, her expression hardening. It seems he's detected our deep space communications. A pity. I had hoped for a more measured response. Outside, the coalition fleet was moving into an attack formation. Admiral Jae-Yun had indeed detected massive energy surges from the Prometheus *, what his scientists identified as quantum entanglement communications directed toward the galactic rim. We cannot allow them to summon reinforcements, Jae-Yun told his captains via secured channel. Prepare to disable their communication arrays. Precision strikes only. Back on the Prometheus *, Juwan turned to her guests. I regret that our conversation must be cut short. For your safety, I suggest you return to your shuttle immediately. Wait, Tae-Yun urged. Let me speak with Admiral Jae-Yun. There's no need for conflict. Juwan considered this. Very well. You have 5 minutes. As Tae-Yun rushed to contact the coalition fleet, the supercarrier's defenses activated. Not with the expected shield glow or weapon ports opening, but something far more subtle. The space around the Prometheus * seemed to shimmer slightly, like heat rising from a hot surface. Admiral Jae-Yun received Tae-Yun's transmission with skepticism. Captain, you need to evacuate immediately. That vessel is activating unknown weapons technology. Sir, please, Tae-Yun pleaded. The humans aren't preparing to attack. They're simply re-establishing contact with their species. Their species is supposed to be extinct, Captain. This could be an invasion force. Before Tae-Yun could respond, one of the coalition cruisers fired a warning shot. A low-power energy pulse directed near the Prometheus *. It was meant as a demonstration, not to cause damage. The energy pulse never reached its target. About a kilometer from the supercarrier, it simply vanished, as if it had never existed. Complete silence fell over the coalition fleet. Admiral Jae-Yun stared at his tactical display in disbelief. What just happened? He demanded. Unknown, sir, his science officer replied, voice shaking. The energy signature just disappeared. Not absorbed, not deflected. It's like that section of space simply rejected its existence. On the Prometheus *, Juwan addressed her guests again. That was unfortunate, but illustrative. What you just witnessed is a reality exclusion field, one of many technologies humanity developed during our absence. It doesn't stop attacks. It prevents them from ever existing within its influence. A holographic display shifted to show the coalition fleet. Then, slowly, every ship in the fleet lost power. Engines, weapons, shields, even life support systems shut down simultaneously. We've temporarily disabled your vessels, Juwan explained. Life support emergency backups remain functional. No one will die, but they cannot attack again. That's impossible, Do-Yun whispered. Our systems are protected by multiple redundancies and safeguards. Your technology is impressive, Ambassador, but ultimately predictable to us. Juwan's expression softened. Now, perhaps, we can have a more productive conversation about humanity's return. As coalition crews frantically tried to restore power to their ships, the Prometheus * began broadcasting on all frequencies. Admiral Juwan's voice reached every vessel, every listening post, and every coalition world within 50 light years. People of the Galactic Coalition, I am Admiral Juwan of the United Earth Defense Force Supercarrier Prometheus *. Humanity has returned from its long absence. We come not as conquerors, but as neighbors who have been away too long. We look forward to peaceful relations, but be assured, we are not the same species that nearly perished 3 centuries ago. We have evolved, adapted, and grown stronger. We hope you will accept our friendship, but we will not tolerate hostility. The choice is yours. 5 massive view screens dominated the new Joint Command Center on Coalition Central Station. Each showed different scenes of preparation unfolding across the galaxy. Coalition mining ships worked alongside human fabricators to harvest resources from asteroid belts. Engineers from both civilizations collaborated on massive defense platforms in orbit around key worlds. Training centers buzzed with activity as Coalition military personnel learned to operate human weapon systems. High Counselor Kyung-hee watched it all with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The past 6 months had seen the greatest mobilization in Coalition history. What would normally take decades was being compressed into mere years. "It's remarkable progress," said Chief Diplomat Geo, who had become the primary liaison with the human collective. "Though not everyone is happy about it." Kyung-hee nodded. Several Coalition worlds had protested the alliance, seeing it as capitulation to human influence. Others welcomed humanity's return with almost religious fervor, viewing them as saviors against the coming hive threat. "How are the joint fleet exercises progressing?" she asked. "See for yourself," Geo replied, gesturing to the central screen. The display shifted to show deep space beyond the Coalition's outer defenses. There, hundreds of ships maneuvered in complex formations. Coalition cruisers moved alongside sleek human vessels, practicing coordinated attack patterns. At the center of the fleet, the Prometheus dwarfed everything around it. "Admiral Juwan has integrated our tactical systems with theirs," Jiho explained. "Our captains can now coordinate with human ships in real time, despite the vast technological differences." The doors to the command center slid open, and Commander Minji entered. Over the months since her arrival, Coalition personnel had grown somewhat accustomed to the enhanced humans, though their abilities still inspired awe and occasional fear. "Counselor Kyung-hee," Minji greeted with a respectful bow. "The final phase of Prometheus activation is complete. Admiral Juwan requests your presence for the demonstration." 2 hours later, Kyung-hee found herself aboard the supercarrier, standing on an observation deck with other Coalition leaders. The interior of the vessel had transformed dramatically since its discovery. What had been darkened corridors and dormant systems now pulsed with life and purpose. Admiral Juwan's hologram materialized before them. "Thank you for coming, Counselor. What you're about to witness represents the culmination of centuries of human advancement." "I'm honored to be included," Kyung-hee replied cautiously. Despite months of cooperation, she still found the eye's presence unsettling. "Though I'm curious why this demonstration requires us to be physically present. Some things must be experienced directly to be understood," Juwan answered. "Prepare for synchronized activation." The entire ship hummed with building energy. Through the viewport, Kyung-hee saw the space around the supercarrier begin to ripple, as if reality itself was becoming fluid. The Prometheus was never just a warship. Juwan explained as the phenomenon intensified. "It is the control hub for what we call the Aegis network." Suddenly, points of light appeared in space around them, dozens at first, then hundreds, then thousands. Each tiny spark expanded into a floating structure, materializing as if from nowhere. "Cloaked defense platforms," gasped Commander Doyun, who stood beside Kyung-hee. "They've been here all along." "Not cloaked," corrected Science Director Hyunwoo, who had joined them. "They existed in a phase-shifted state, partially outside normal spacetime. This made them completely undetectable until now." The platforms continued to appear, forming an immense 3-dimensional grid that stretched as far as the eye could see. Each was a marvel of engineering, bristling with weapon systems and defensive measures. The Aegis network extends throughout Coalition space and beyond. Juan continued. Over 3 centuries, we deployed these platforms in strategic locations, waiting for the day they would be needed. Kyung-hee stared in amazement. How many are there? In this sector alone. Approximately 12,000. Hyunwoo replied. Across the galaxy, nearly 2 million. 2 million. Commander Doyeon whispered. The resources required were considerable, Juan acknowledged. This represents the combined industrial output of hundreds of human worlds working with singular purpose for generations. The Admiral's hologram gestured, and a tactical display appeared, showing the full extent of the defense network. It covered not just Coalition territory, but extended into regions previously thought uninhabitable or unexplored. And now, Juan said, we will demonstrate the network's primary capability. At her command, energy began flowing between the platforms, forming glowing connections. The pattern expanded rapidly, creating a vast web of light. Then, without warning, space itself seemed to fold. A massive distortion appeared at the edge of the formation, growing quickly into what looked like a controlled spatial rift. Through this opening, ships began to emerge, thousands of them, each bearing the distinctive design of human vessels. They ranged from small fighters to massive carriers nearly as large as the Prometheus itself. The human defense fleet, Juan announced, stationed beyond the galactic rim, awaiting this signal. They will form the mobile component of our combined defenses. As the coalition leaders watched in stunned silence, the fleet continued to pour through the spatial gateway. It seemed endless. The Aegis network doesn't just serve as a defensive barrier, Hyunwoo explained. It creates synchronized spatial folds, allowing our forces to move instantly across vast distances. The Hive will face not just fixed defenses, but a mobile fleet that can appear anywhere within the network's coverage. Commander Doyeon studied the tactical displays with professional appreciation. This changes everything. With this mobility advantage, even the Hive's superior numbers become less significant. Chief Diplomat Jiho turned to Minji. Why share this with us now? You could have kept this capability secret until the Hive arrived. Minji smiled gently. Because true alliance requires trust, and trust requires honesty, even when it might be easier to conceal the truth. High Counselor Kyung-hee watched as coalition ships moved to rendezvous with the newly arrived human fleet. I admit, when you first returned, many of us feared you came as conquerors. This level of power could easily overwhelm the coalition. That was never our intention, Juwan's hologram replied. Humanity learned harsh lessons during the Hive Wars. We came to understand that survival isn't measured by dominance over others, but by our ability to preserve life in all its forms. The observation deck fell silent as everyone contemplated the enormity of what they were witnessing. Will it be enough? Kyung-hee finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Against what's coming? Admiral Juwan's expression grew solemn. Even with all our advancement, I cannot promise victory. The Hive has also evolved. The coming conflict will test both our civilizations to their limits. But Commander Minji added, placing a hand gently on Kyung-hee's shoulder, united, we have a chance. And sometimes, a chance is all any species needs to change their destiny. As the combined human and coalition fleet formed up around the Prometheus Admiral Juwan addressed all ships across the shared communication network. 3 centuries ago, humanity stood alone against the darkness and nearly perished. Today, we stand together, different species, different histories, but with a common future. The Hive seeks only consumption and destruction. We fight for something greater, the right of all sentient life to exist and flourish. This is not just humanity's battle or the coalition's battle. This is the galaxy's battle, and together we will prevail.